Hi, Fremont family. I'm Tim Alst, an elder here at Fremont, and I'm so glad that you could join me today for our devotion on Matthew chapter 14. Most of us lead very busy lives. Between work and volunteering, taking care of the household, getting kids or grandkids to school and sports, you name it, it can be overwhelming at times. And add to that all the craziness from the pandemic over the past several months and all the crazy stuff that's happening around us. How do we handle all this? How do we fulfill all of our responsibilities and at the same time maintain our relationship with God? Jesus shows us the answer in our passage today. Pray. Jesus made an intentional effort to be alone with his Father in prayer on a regular basis, and we should follow his lead. We witness this in our passage today, Matthew 14. It begins by telling us of Jesus' cousin, John the Baptist, who's murdered in a most violent way. This is the same cousin that, while in his mother's womb, leapt with excitement at the presence of Jesus. The same cousin that baptized Jesus after proclaiming, "Behold, the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world." The same cousin of which Jesus said, "Among those born of women, there is not a greater prophet." One can hardly imagine the grief Jesus experienced upon receiving the tragic news of John's death. How did Jesus respond? He went to a deserted place to pray. Not long after, a multitude of people, over 5,000, came to Jesus. And Jesus had compassion for them. And in the midst of his grief, he healed those who were sick, and he miraculously fed the multitude. This must have been exhausting. Immediately after this, Jesus went to a deserted spot on the mountain to pray. He was alone there praying to the Father. And not too long after this, Jesus became aware that his disciples who were out in a boat in the sea were in trouble. High winds were causing high waves, and the boat was being tossed all about. Jesus miraculously walked out onto the water and comforted the frightened disciples, saying, "Be of good cheer, it's me, don't be afraid." Peter responded by getting out of the boat to walk on the water, but he became afraid and began to sink. And Jesus reached out and he caught him. And then after getting back in the boat, the gale-force winds, they ceased and they crossed to the other side. And only a short time later, the crowds are back. But Jesus compassionately heals the sick. So as you see in our passage today, and as you're going to find throughout all of the Gospels, Jesus took time to pray often, no matter how busy or crazy his life was. And he instructed his disciples and us to follow in his footsteps. So follow Jesus' pattern. Pray often, no matter how busy life gets. Thank you so much for joining me today. May God bless you in a multitude of ways.